Super Bowl preview.
We should fly a plane with that or something. That could really catch on. We should have gotten on that. One of those banner planes.
It's in a dome. Bills have scored 30 points in 7 straight games, but it's the Lions who officially have the highest scoring offense in football. Right there, going up against $20. So, Nick, we'll start with you.
Okay.
You're the Bills guy. What do you got?
Got tiny hands. I actually have regular size hands, but I don't actually have. But I'm picking tiny hands to win the game.
Wow.
Yeah, but listen, this has been This is kind of like part 3 of a long prediction that ends with Jared Goff trying to wrap his tiny hands around the league MVP award, which is the Lions get to 13-1, the Bills lose 2 straight, and all of a sudden, because here's the other thing that will happen if the Bills lose this game, and I think they will. You know what people will start doing? Be like, wait a minute, why is Josh Allen the MVP and not Lamar Jackson? Their record's only a game apart at that point.
If the Bills lose?
If the Bills lose, 10-4, 9-5. Lamar, they played. Lamar was great. Josh struggled. Lamar's numbers are way up here, and that'll hurt his case. And then Jared will be sitting there. I also think this game is a touch more important for Detroit.
Yeah.
Because Detroit is right now, Coach, pacing towards the 1 seed. But Minnesota refuses to lose football games and is right on their heels. Philadelphia, despite all the drama, refuses to lose football games. They're right on their heels, so they could fall not only to the 2, but as I've talked about at the 5. And I just don't fully trust Buffalo's defense against explosive offenses. Listen, I think Buffalo's really, really good and one of the top teams in the league. Mm-hmm. But I think in this spot for Detroit, I favor Detroit in this spot, and I think Detroit's better than Vegas says they're dead even teams. I don't look at it that way. I think that Detroit's better than Buffalo.
That's why what you just said at the end is why I'm going with Detroit too. Like, I think the Bills' defense, first of all, you can definitely be run on. And so I think Sonic and Knuckles, Jameer Gibbs, and David Montgomery are going to have I'm a nickname guy. Yeah. You're the ambassador of impartiality.
Yeah,
you know? That was not as good as Sonic and Knuckles. But I think they can run on them. I mean, Baltimore ran for almost 300 yards against them. And the other teams have, run for a bunch of yards on them. And like you said, Nick, Baltimore and the Rams, who are explosive when they have their full cast, they had a field day against their defense. So obviously, Detroit has a great offense. I also think the game is in Detroit. You mentioned all that they have to play for. And Dan Campbell, I don't think he's going to let them, like, their whole culture is not let up. Like, I think they are. He said they're in playoff mode, and I think they're going to try to be in playoff mode all the way to the Super Bowl, all these 7 games or whatever it is that it'll be.
Yeah, with Buffalo scoring 30 points in 7 straight games, and then they're getting Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, both back. That's a problem as well. And the way that Detroit's defense is beat up, and it's been beat up long term, and it's been beat up short term. So all those things make me lean towards Buffalo. Mm. Now the issue I have is Buffalo's not very good on the road. They're 4-3 on the road. So that's been a problem for them. Buffalo's had a tough week, so they canceled practice yesterday. They did everything over Zoom meetings. They're supposed to have a walkthrough today. Don't know if that affects their preparation. And look, it may actually have a positive effect if the guys got off their feet and got some extra rest. But all that being said, I mean, I'd love to choose Buffalo just because both you guys chose Detroit. But I'm gonna go with my Super Bowl pick, and merely because it's my Super Bowl pick, not because I think Buffalo has the edge.
Oh, you think Buffalo has the edge?
Yeah,
because so the Detroit injuries, they haven't shown up statistically as much. Like they
were actually statistically some of the numbers were better without Aiden Hutchinson.
They're playing linebackers in like little blocks. This guy has 7 plays. This guy has 8 plays. This guy has 10 plays. They're new to the system. Guys, where's from, like Saginaw Valley State or something.
They've got guys are undrafted guys in there.
Guys are showing up, and so look again. I'll give Aaron Glenn a ton of credit with what he's doing, but that you eventually hit a roadblock there where the injuries just become insurmountable. Now, Detroit's offense could go toe-to-toe, although Buffalo.
I kind of see a shootout. I feel like it's going to be a shootout.
So I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like Detroit right now is going to recognize if we just make it clear, we're just going to keep running the ball until you give us the looks that Jared Goff thrives under, you know what I mean? Then and then that back end cannot survive against potent offenses without safety help. Like if you leave their corners out on an island and you have a accurate quarterback, which Goff is, and dynamic receivers, which they have, even if other than Amon-Ra, they're not that reliable. They are dynamic. Jamo is he's dynamic. He would drop some, make some mistakes, but he's dynamic. And I feel like Buffalo, their only way to beat great teams is Josh Allen going, you know what I mean, true Superman mode. And he can't do that every week. Nobody can do that every week. He did it against Kansas City at the end, not even for the whole game, but at the end, that final drive. And he did it for basically the entire game against the Rams, and their defense let him down in that game. I just think we're probably due for a Josh Allen interception or two.
He's had some games where he's very pedestrian, too.
It's just too much to ask for the guy every week when they just did it last week.
And I think as much as we celebrate everything that Josh Allen is doing, it's the fact that he's protecting the football.
Right.
That to me, the incredible difference between last year and this year in terms of interceptions it's amazing. Now, and we know that Goff at any point could have the 5-pick game.
Do you think Sean McDermott will change his coaching philosophy going up against the Lions, knowing that Dan Campbell and the Lions are so aggressive and they score so many points that like maybe McDermott will start to take a few more shots on fourth down?
You can, and you can also get in trouble with that if that's not who you are, and then suddenly you're trying to be that. Now, it works really well for Detroit. All those guys have bought into it. That's kind of business as usual. So if you're trying to artificially manufacture sort of that mentality, sometimes it works out. I think they just need to go in with the philosophy that's been really successful for them. Now, if the game turns out to be we got to match these fourth down conversions, you kind of go to that as opposed to going into the game assuming you got to do that.
And Buffalo's not worried that they have to go for aggressive fourth downs to score points, as evidenced by they've scored 30 in 7 straight games. What I worry about for the Bills, kind of big picture-wise, is for good or for bad, I thought that Dan Campbell fourth down call in the last game they played was ridiculous. I thought it was foolish, but because it worked, it just added to their late game aggressive momentum kind of belief. And the exact opposite happened with the Bills. I think the Bills probably lose that game even if they were down 9 with a minute left. They're probably going to lose even if they don't do the quarterback sneak and fail and then you waste the timeout. But they did it. Now it's like, oh, did that cost us the game? And a coach who already, that is his biggest weakness, is end-of-game situations. You can see the tightness on him. Does that build? So just like the Lions are building a positive, momentum, like it's a fait accompli, I wonder if on the Bills' sideline it's like, how are we going to, if it's close late, how are we going to screw this up? And that's concerning. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.